Greetings, my beloved community. I wanted to take some time to record for you an update from the land regarding our response to COVID-19. Today is April 10th, and so on the precipice of Easter, I know that resurrection looks very much different than it has ever looked in the past, and that includes the way in which we gather at the land. So this video is really to offer you some insight as to what we're thinking, what we're planning, and really how that's going to impact what ministry at the land looks like as we continue our mission of connecting with creation and caring for creation while also maintaining physical distance during this time. So I want to start by sharing with you first some of the things that we are doing. So my focus as the pastor of the land is really right now on increasing connections through virtual platforms. And so you know that we have been worshiping at the land, but offering it for participatory purposes on Facebook Live. And this, of course, has a learning curve to it. We continue to experiment with lighting, with sound, and with sound equipment. We also are learning and experimenting with ways to make it easy for you to access the live stream. We do download that recording, edit it, and post it on YouTube so you can watch it anytime after that Saturday 10 a.m. live stream. But then I also do my best to write out my message and email that. So if you're not getting the weekly emails from the land, you can subscribe to our newsletter by just going to our website, which is thelandaurora.org. And the first thing that will happen is a pop-up will come on your screen and invite you to subscribe to that newsletter. So I invite you to do that if you would be interested in getting both the video of the worship services that's recorded and the written message, is as well as continual updates, some of which I'll be going over in this video. We've also been utilizing Zoom, and the first thing that's been implemented is a Wednesday morning 10 a.m. coffee with Pastor Stephanie. And this is just a time for devotion, discussion, and meditation, a way to connect with each other and also to center ourselves in a time of anxiety. I plan to add on to the Wednesday 10 a.m. Option a Wednesday 7 p.m. Gathering on Zoom, which will mirror the morning gathering, but is an option for people who work during the day and maybe have not gotten enough Zoom in their life right now and are just looking to finish their day off with another Zoom gathering. But I do miss connecting with so many of you that I know are just not able to make it during the day. In addition, I also plan to add the weekend after this on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Zoom classroom for our younger children and then for our youth. The children will be gathering at 10 a.m. on Sunday mornings beginning next week. And we'll just do a quick half an hour. We'll do a story time, and I'll invite them to do a craft during the week. And then the youth will gather from 10:30 to 11:30. And my plan for that gathering is to utilize spiritual practices to allow them some safe space to creatively process all that this pandemic is throwing at them, and just to be present with them truly is the intention. So I hope that our children and youth will be able to participate on Sunday mornings next week so that we can kind of continue as a faith community to support and surround all of our participants. I also wanted to share, which you already probably know, that we continue to connect through our communion care packages, which are delivered once a month on the last week of the month. They have included electric candles, which are placed in the windows of participants and are turned on at 8 p.m. I've been encouraging people to take a picture and post it on your Facebook page. You can tag the land in it or my name. And I've just been amazed at the ways that this love has rippled out into the world. I see many people posting and then comments from their neighbors that, now they're going to try. And just this idea that hopefully soon so many people will have electric candles in their windows, and nobody will remember where it started, but everybody will remember the meaning. In the communion care kits, there's also enough bread and juice to celebrate communion in your households every Saturday for a month. We are a community that celebrates communion weekly, and I wanted to really have some continuity in that practice. So I think Cece and Clyde, particularly for just doing so much of that delivery on a monthly basis. We've had people contribute to those bags small gifts, pottery, bookmarks. You're welcome to contribute as well. I'm just asking that before the fourth Wednesday of every month, you would drop whatever you would like included in the 19 bags off on my doorstep, and I will be sure to put those in the kits for the coming month. I also wanted to share with you news about property development. You know that we've had mission groups who were supposed to or wanted to be able to come to the land and learn about creation and offer their service in the past few months and have been unable to do so. So Clyde and I have been pushing forward, and I'm very impressed with the progress that we're making. We do plan to have 10 garden beds up and running, planting those in May. We have 4 families who are fostering seedlings. We're going to be planting things such as snap peas and beets, lettuce, carrots, raspberries, strawberries. Clyde and I will be in the coming weeks working on a gravity drip irrigation system. We are looking for a trailer to be able to put a poly tank to fill with water, because water is incredibly important, obviously, with a garden. But this is just a sign of hope for all of us to know that this progress is happening. Clyde and I have worked on outlining some projects that families can do at home to help us prepare for the garden. I've just said the fostering seedlings, but we also have some PVC piping projects for that irrigation system that we're going to be asking people to participate in and contribute to. We wanted to have an alternative. We're looking ahead already to the summer, an alternative for the mission groups who are scheduled to come out that are local groups, some ways that we can ensure, regardless of if the shelter stay is lifted, physical safety. And so we've been talking about in July and August, local groups coming out and limiting them to half days, wearing masks and gloves, lowering the numbers of participants, but still being a safe space for people to gather outdoors while physically distancing. And so I just wanted to let you know that we are thinking ahead for the summer and finding alternative ways that we can continue our mission and our programming, but in a different way, which leads me into the conversation of some things that we are not going to be doing. We're not going to be worshiping in person until, I'm guessing, June 2020, and that's probably being generous with the month in which we'll be back together. My first concern is physical safety, and the thought of losing anybody is completely overwhelming to me. And so in the decisions that I'm making, I'm really thinking of what are the decisions that no matter what happens, I will not regret. And coming together to worship in person too soon and having someone be sick, grow ill, and not be able to be with us anymore is just something I'm not willing to risk. And so I don't anticipate making a decision even about whether or not we will worship in person until the end of May. And at that point, we'll see what the world looks like. essential ministry can happen in virtual spaces. We are incredibly creative, as we've already proved, and so I have no concerns about the ways in which honoring physical safety would threaten our social connections, as I only see those social connections strengthening. We will not be hosting mission groups from out of state in June. And obviously, this is a really hard decision. We're still waiting to see what things look like for July. I've already stated that we're currently working on coming up with some guidelines for the local mission groups who are on site. I had a conversation with a pastor whose group was supposed to come out in May, and we were discerning whether or not she should come. Like all of us, it's so hard to make these decisions. There are so many factors that weigh in, and the question that I just posed to her was, what will you do if one of your kids gets sick and you're out of state and you're here? And that really just kind of solidified the decision that we wanted to postpone. And that's a word that I want us to hold on to, because none of the groups are canceling. We are postponing. And to me, that's such a hope-filled word, that not yet. Yes, and things are still going to happen, but they're going to happen in a new and different way. I also am leaning towards heavily not doing our kids camp in June as we had planned. This was our first year that we were going to offer a half-day garden camp for kids, and the uncertainty and the way in which that's changed my job and the attention that I'm able to give to things real, as well as just our responsibility to keep children safe. It's leading me. I'll make a decision in the next 2 weeks, but right now I'm very much leaning towards postponing our kids garden camp. There's going to be lots of ways to do that alternatively. I think that we can offer an online learning space. We can encourage kids to have small gardens, either in containers or in their backyard, and gather together virtually. But an on-site option, I think, is looking highly unlikely as we value the safety of each person who is ministered to by the land. And finally, I wanted to share how all of these things are impacting us. I wanted to address the financials, because I know that any healthy organization has this question that arises: how will this impact us financially? And right now, we are in a financially healthy position. Our pledging donors and our one-time donors have been generous and faithful, and this has allowed us to make conservative financial decisions, allowing us to really set up a security plan in the case that anything were to happen. Now, we would have never imagined that a pandemic would have been what was happening, nor would we ever have hoped that something would happen in general, but we are in a financially secure place in the moment. What that will look like in the days, weeks, months, and years to come, we know that there is a lot of uncertainty with that. We are asking that if you're able to, and if it's on your heart, that if you're not a pledging member, becoming a pledging member by going to our website, thelandaurora.org, and then setting up a reoccurring giving to the land, that just really helps us have a sense of security around what we have to utilize as far as financial resources for the future programming of the land. We have and continue to be in an expansive process of expanding programming, adding new programming in, and so that continued support is going to be incredibly important as we continue to expand and add in new ways, in creative ways. I've been excited about the possibilities of live stream and what that's offered to expanding our community. I've been running some Facebook ads within 10, 15, and 20 miles of our local radius, inviting people not only to like the land Facebook page or Instagram page, but then also to join us for live stream worship at 10 a.m. And we've had on a Saturday up to 400 people who have either chimed in or have watched the service. What a great way to give people a glimpse of a community that they might feel as though they want to be a part of in person when that time comes together again. I have shared many times, and so this might not be the first time you're hearing it, but that as I see the world falling apart, I see the people and community at the land falling together. And I have never been more humbled, more filled with joy to be the pastor of a community than I am right now in this moment. I see our community calling one another. I see you reaching out and sending letters to one another. I see you dropping off small gifts for the communion packages. I see you delivering mullein palms to doorsteps so that we can all celebrate Palm Sunday in a new way that's culturally relevant. And I see this love rippling out into the world. I already mentioned the electric candle and the way in which that's offering love and light to a world that seems rather dark right now. My heart also feels incredibly inspired by the vulnerability that people are showing in their small group gatherings, such as sharing writings for our Holy Saturday service. It is clear to me that we are all in this together as I witness our community not only listening to the needs of others, but most importantly, sharing their needs with the group as it gathers virtually. I have never been so encouraged in such a time of uncertainty that our community is sustainable, not only financially, but we are sustainable spiritually. You have shown great perseverance, care, compassion in this time, and I am looking forward to the days ahead to see how the Holy Spirit guides us to continue our mission together. I will be following up with weekly emails to continue inviting you to connect in new ways virtually, updating you about what our plans are for the weeks and days ahead, and also outlining some Zoom office hours. This whole switch in our world has thrown everyone for a loop, and I am included in that. And so my plan is to offer a few days a week where I will just have a Zoom room open, and you are welcome to get on and talk to me about property development issues, pastoral care issues, to just pop in and say hi to me, whatever you need. I want to be available, but I also want to be able to put some structure to my days so that people know when I am available and how you can reach me. Email seems to be the best. I'm getting behind on text messages, as many of you might tell. I will be answering emails and text messages from the hours of 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And I will email out my Zoom office hours as well so that you can have some continuity and dependability from me as your pastor, knowing that things and questions are going to pop up as we move forward. I pray that you will find a way to participate in the land's new version of what church looks like. We are experts at pioneering new ways to define ministry, and we are shining in this time. So I pray that you feel blessed. I pray that you feel my love extended to you, my support offered to you. And until we gather again virtually in a new space in this new world, may you be well.